Look at her, Officer Dale smirks, clippers buzzing in his hand. Think this'll make her listen? The small cell hums under the flicker of one dying bulb. Tasha sits silent, wrists cuffed, curls spilling like defiance down her back. Officer Renee laughs, too loud. Ain't no queen in here, sweetheart. The first chunk of hair falls. Tasha doesn't flinch. She only stares, steady, unblinking, as each lock slides to the cold floor. Guess you're not so proud now, Dale says, wiping sweat from his lip. His laugh cracks. The room feels tighter, hotter. Tasha's voice cuts through it, calm, precise. You done? Renee scoffs. What you gonna do, cry? Tasha's eyes lift, sharp as glass. No, just remember your names. The hum of the clippers stops. Silence drops heavy. Even the bulb seems to still. For a moment, Dale's grin falters. He doesn't know why, only that something in her tone feels final. Tasha exhales, low and measured. You took my crown, she says. One day I'll take your chair. Their laughter fades into confusion, the sound swallowed by her steady gaze. They don't know it yet, but judgment always circles back. The city rain slaps the pavement outside the precinct. Morning light struggles through fogged windows, turning the police office gray and sour. Inside, chatter hums. Coffee cups, stale donuts, the kind of laughter that hides boredom. Tasha sits at a metal desk, waiting for release paperwork. Her head is wrapped in a scarf now, the one she managed to tie with trembling fingers after they'd taken her hair. Her wrists still show faint red lines from the cuffs. She doesn't speak, doesn't look up. Officer Dale leans on the door frame. Shouldn't have mouthed off, he says, voice full of cheap pride. You people never learn respect. Tasha folds her hands. Respect, she repeats quietly, as if tasting the word. Renee laughs from her desk. You're free to go, sweetheart. Don't forget your little attitude next time. We got plenty more clippers. Tasha stands, smooth, slow. The scarf shadows her eyes. I won't forget, she says. Not one thing. Rain echoes like applause as she walks out. Calm, straight-backed, the sound of her shoes steady and deliberate. Outside, the street smells like wet asphalt and exhaust. A bus hisses to a stop. A driver nods to her kindly, not knowing the storm, sitting behind her stillness. In her reflection on the window, she sees the faint outline of who she was and who she's becoming. That night, under a dim apartment light, she unpacks her old law books, the same ones she once used to dream of justice. The scarf slips off. The mirror catches her eyes, clear, cold, and resolute. She whispers to herself, they think they took something, but they just made room for the crown I'm building. The clock ticks past midnight. Somewhere, thunder rolls like a slow drum beat. A single folder sits open on her desk, case studies on police misconduct. Her fingers tighten around a pen. Power doesn't shout. It studies. It waits. And tonight, it remembers. 3 years later, the courthouse hums with whispers and heels on marble. Light floods through tall glass, clean and merciless. Officer Dale adjusts his tie, scanning the room with the same arrogance he once wore in uniform. He's here for a disciplinary hearing. Internal misconduct, excessive force. Something he's done too many times to remember. He cracks a joke to Renee beside him. Bet it's another lecture from some rookie judge, Renee smirks. Long as it ain't one of those activists, we'll be fine. A bailiff's voice cuts through the murmur. All rise, they stand. Dale's grin flickers as he looks toward the bench. Tasha steps out from chambers, black robe, bare scalp glinting under the courtroom light like polished truth. Her posture is unbent, her eyes unreadable. Dale's smirk collapses into silence. Renee blinks, throat tight. Good morning, Tasha says evenly. Please be seated. The words land with the weight of a gavel before she even touches it. The clerk begins reading charges, patterns of intimidation, falsified reports, excessive use of power. Each one feels like a mirror turned toward them. Tasha's gaze never wavers. She listens, not as a victim, but as a gatekeeper. Dale shifts, sweat gathering under his collar. He leans close to Renee. That can't be her. Renee's whisper shakes. It is. Tasha pauses the proceedings. Before we continue, I'd like both officers to confirm their previous conduct during my detainment 3 years ago. Record states an unapproved act of humiliation occurred under your supervision. Do you recall? The air thins. Dale opens his mouth, but words stumble. Your Honor, it was a misunderstanding. Tasha leans forward slightly, calm, cold. Justice doesn't misunderstand, Officer Dale. It documents. Silence ripples across the room. Pens stop scratching. Someone exhales too loud. She nods to the clerk. Proceed. The rest of the charges unfold like dominoes, each one heavier than the last. Dale glances again at Tasha, now the judge, the one they laughed at, the one they shaved. And for the first time, he feels what she felt. Power stripped, dignity judged under light too bright right to hide in. The courtroom sits in thick, humming silence. Every word now carries consequence. Tasha takes a measured breath, fingertips resting lightly on her bench. "Officer Dale," she begins, "you once told a detained citizen, me, that respect had to be earned. Do you recall saying that?" Dale's eyes dart to the crowd, cameras flashing softly like blinking stars. I don't remember, Your Honor." Tasha nods slowly, then gestures to the clerk. "Let's refresh your memory." The screen flickers to life behind her. Security footage, date stamped, the cell, the buzzing clippers, their laughter, her silence. The crowd gasps. The sound echoes like a wave hitting stone. Renee covers her mouth. Dale goes pale. "This was not authorized," Tasha says, "and yet neither of you filed a single line of accountability. You thought it disappeared." Dale stammers. "We were just following orders." Tasha's voice cuts through, soft but merciless. "No, you were following arrogance?" The courtroom's energy shifts. Even the air feels sharper. A journalist scribbles faster. Someone whispers, "That's her. She's the one they humiliated." Tasha's tone softens, but her eyes gleam. "You shaved my head, officers. Said there was no queen here. But I see now. You were wrong. You just didn't recognize a crown when it was growing." Dale's lips tremble. "We didn't know who you were." Her response is almost a whisper. "You didn't care who I was?" Gasps again. Then silence. Tasha looks to the board of review. "I recommend full suspension pending investigation and public release of this footage. Justice doesn't hide in back rooms." The gavel strikes. The sound is thunder, final and echoing. Reporters rush out the door. Phones light up. The city begins to buzz with headlines before the courtroom even empties. Renee breaks down quietly, head in her hands. Dale stares at the polished floor, seeing his reflection tremble under tears he won't admit to. Tasha gathers her notes. No triumph, just truth. She stands, the black robe flowing like armor, and as she walks past them, she stops, just long enough to say, "Humiliation taught me grace. Grace taught me power." Then she leaves them in the silence they once used against her. Weeks later, the precinct doors that once echoed with laughter now whisper shame. Dale and Renee sit across from an internal review board. Their badges lie cold on the table, symbols stripped of pride. Reporters wait outside, rain dripping from umbrellas like time running out. A board member reads the verdict, dismissed without pension, charges under review. Dale exhales, but it's not relief, it's disbelief, the kind that settles deep like regret that came too late. Outside, Tasha walks past the cameras. Flash after flash, her image fills the air, bald, poised, unshaken. The same crown they mocked now glows under daylight. A journalist calls out, "Judge Coleman, any words for the officers who humiliated you?" Tasha pauses, glancing toward the courthouse steps where justice still feels heavy. She smiles faintly. "Accountability isn't revenge," she says. "It's correction, and sometimes correction comes wrapped in grace." Her voice carries across the square, quiet but unforgettable. She walks on. Behind her, a young black girl holds her mother's hand, watching with wide eyes. "Mama," she whispers. "She looks like a queen." Her mother nods softly. "That's because she is, baby." The rain eases. Sunlight breaks through clouds, landing on the courthouse seal. Justice for all. In an office window above, Dale watches her leave. He wants to hate her, but all he feels is the weight of his own reflection. He remembers the sound of the clippers, the laughter, the silence after. Now that silence follows him everywhere. Tasha returns to her chambers. She sets her robe on the chair, runs a hand over the smooth wood of her bench. It feels different now, not as a reminder of pain, but of power reclaimed without cruelty. She closes her eyes, whispers to the quiet room, "They shaved my head to break me. All they did was clear the path for my crown." Outside, the courthouse clock chimes once, clear and resonant. Justice doesn't always roar. Sometimes it rises, elegant, unbothered, unbowed. And when it does, even those who mocked it must stand. This is Black Twisted Stories.